You have reached your destination.
Yep. Okay, today is the start of the new year, and I figured I would start making videos and getting some actual progress on this thing. I've just sold this for my buddy, and I'll have some garage space back, so I might as well make use of it. I've more or less centered the body over the wheel arches. I could go back a smidge, a little bit more. Um, and I gotta say, the C2 Corvette frame is perfect for this car. Perfect. Just perfect. Um, One can see I've got 2x4s that go down that way, and I need to. There's a cat. I put those 2x4s there so that the rear end wouldn't sag, and you can see here where the plastic, the fiberglass began to buckle. So before I shorten that 2x4, i.e. take it off completely, I'm going to shore up that area so it's very stiff. I may put some aluminum or some steel in the background there so it doesn't cave in a little bit. And I'll do the same thing on the other side because the other side's was doing the same thing. Let me see if, yeah, a little bit right there. So the same area. I've taken the dash off too, and one can see that you don't have to get creative when it comes to putting that in, because where that shifter is just about top middle of the dash piece. So at some point I see myself with some design, I don't know, not flaws, but I've got to do something about the design. Excuse me. One can also see that the engine looks pretty good. I'll be putting, let me back up here. Once I get the body positioned the way that I want it to be, and using that and that, the mount points that were natural to the C2 body, C2 bodies, as well as that, and probably something in the back as well, I will know where my body will sit naturally on the frame, right? Once I know that, I can then come up with gas tank ideas, plus radiator ideas. Radiator ideas equals I can run the engine. Gas ideas equals I can run it without having to pour gas down the throat of the carburetor. And that's that. So here's where we're gonna start. Yep. And here we go. Okay, so I've taken a piece of 3 foot by 1.5 by 1/8. This stuff. I have drilled holes in it, and I have bent it so that it lies up against the inner body perfectly. And with my flapper disc and angle grinder, I have cut a whole bunch of zigzag patterns. I've grounded. I've put a whole bunch of zigzag patterns into this back and front. Okay, so when you bond fiberglass with metal, fiberglass doesn't chemically convert or chemically bond with the metal, obviously, right? So you've got to put something on the metal for it to grab onto. What I'm going to do is put down a layer of fiberglass, put this over it, clamp it down nice and good, and then let it sit for a while, and then put successive layers over it so that it's got good adhesion as well as strength across the entire length of it. Okay, again, 3 feet. I'll show you when I'm done how it looks. I'm using this stuff. Okay, I've used this on a number of other projects, and this is what boats are made from. Like 3 layers of this stuff. It's awesome, freaking awesome. And that's the fiberglass, and the resin I'm using is just the 2 to 1 or the 2-part. It's over here. 2-part resin right there. I'll mix some up. Put a backing layer on the car, on the body itself, this over it, and then layers of the fiberglass on top of it for strength. Yeah, I love this stuff. Okay, so this is, oh heck, first step of probably 2 more on this side. As you can see, I've got it clamped in with these long ass things I've used for welding in the past. And I'll wait probably 4 or 5 hours. Hell, I'll probably wait until overnight actually for all this to set and set correctly. You can see that I've put a layer of that fiberglass between up and down. See here, here's the layer, and then down here is the layer. So there's quite a bit of overlap there, right? So once this is done, once this is cured, tomorrow morning I will put another layer of a fiberglass mat plus resin, and I'll probably do 2 or 3 total and see how it goes. Okay. I do want to keep this clamped for as long as I can. I'm heartened that some of the fiberglass has come through those holes. That means I've got good penetration. Behind this, I've got, maybe you can tell, a mixture of fiberglass mat and hardener. Bondo calls it Bondo hair. I've heard it called tiger hair. There's different variants, but it's fiberglass mat chopped up into bits, impregnated with resin, and then you just add hardener, and it's also strong as hell. So I've used that in the past to very good effect and really like it. Oh, I see a little bit of need to. Yeah. There, it's getting sticky, so that's a good sign. Yeah. My entire thing is leaning, as you can see, because of the extra weight. That's how well balanced this thing is. I got a rope there, so it doesn't lean too much. Again, in the morning, all this comes down, and I will see how we go. And we're done here. You can see, roughly center of screen, an off-color long straight piece. That is the metal. It's even better. There you go. Under that, I've got a layer of fiberglass. Over that, the metal, and then 3 more layers of that fiberglass. All right, and I mixed it so it's a slow dry. I know it looks like there's some air trapped in there, but it's not. That's just the discoloration of the metal. I worked very hard to get all that that air out. And I worked with this stuff before, so I know what I'm doing. The successive layers of the fiberglass will coat that metal. It'll never get rusty. And both the metal plus the fiberglass plus the resin will add a great deal of structural rigidity to the body, and I won't have to worry about it bouncing up and down. Honestly, what I want to do is zorch off the lumber. We'll just unscrew it, actually, and so I can use it elsewhere and, balance this thing out. And when I start to really try hard to put the body onto the frame, I know where my jack points are, right? So again, I'm going to leave this to cure overnight, and then I'll take off all of those pieces. This is the right side now, the passenger side. The other side is the left side. Well, duh, that's pretty obvious. And I will cover this with 2 or 3 more layers of fiberglass and call that a day. Okay, and then I'll take off the same piece, so I again can, start working on the body. So, body stiffening. I'm going to call this complete and probably put a video up. There we go.